Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of your favorite show, 4th and 62. We have a special guest with us today, Kevin Paul Dupont of the Boston Globe. We'll get to the Bruins and Kevin in just a couple of minutes. But first, I have to introduce, from his palatial estate somewhere in southern Connecticut, his cousin Stephen. And also,
hey, everybody.
Also here, although he's wearing his Chelmsford garb today.
Yes.
He's not wearing his Ohio State, the number one team in the nation, by the
Ohio State.
I didn't unzip your vest.
That's
so
right.
I'm trying to control myself.
Well, that's in honor of the CHS making a run in the football playoffs.
And they're in the playoffs,
They're
right?
in the playoffs, and they beat Quincy, which was an upset.
Yep.
They've got a tough one coming up this week. We'll see.
Who do they play?
I believe they're playing Hingham, if I remember correctly. But no. I'll look up.
Well, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, our guest last time we were here was our Thanksgiving show with the great Bruce Byam, who Bob did a great interview with. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite and our favorite, the Boston Red Sox. 2025 season is over. Was it successful? I don't know. Well, they signed Peter.
100%.
Go ahead.
100%. If you're asking me, it's 100% successful.
Yeah, because they made the playoffs. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll sign Pete Alonso? Do you think they'll trade for Joe Ryan? Are they going to re-sign Lucas Giolito? What will Craig Breslow do? Bregman opts out. I didn't read it, but I guess there was something in today's paper about Scott Boras, who's Bregman's agent, talking about coffee and Bregman. I don't know what it was. And Trevor Story opted in. He's going to stay here, which I think is a great story.
It is funny, good.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, pardon the pun there. Then we'll talk about the Celtics. They split in Orlando. They lost by 2 to Philadelphia. They blew out the Grizzlies the other night. 40 wins is what we can expect unless we get Jason Tatum back. Personally, I hope Tatum waits until his ankle, his Achilles, is 100% healed before he comes back. And then, Stephen, for less than a minute, the Patriots, they've won 8. The real talking heads picked the Patriots to win 7 games. Well, that's all done. They did that. So they're 8-2. They have the best record in the NFL, tied with the Colts and the Broncos, which is unbelievable. Drake May
Coach Bob and I picked, we went for 9 wins. We went out on a limb and said 9. And now they're going to hit that tonight.
Yeah, probably.
So pretty good.
Oh, my God. They have to win tonight. I mean, they're playing very, very well. But if they lose to the freaking Jets.
I think Chelmsford High can beat the Jets.
Wow. Yeah, you never know.
Well, didn't the Jets just win 2 games in a row?
They did.
Yeah.
One was against Cleveland, right?
That's not a real big feat, but yes, they did. Oh, my God. Okay, anyhow.
All right. So, Stephon Diggs, Booty, Demario Douglas, Hunter Henry, I put pretty good, don't you think? And I'll answer my own question. Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
Diggs
has been unbelievable.
He earned his beer money the last game with that touchdown pass. With the double tap.
Yep.
And in the recovery of the onside kick, too.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Well, he got creamed, and he knew he was going to get creamed.
Right.
He held on to the ball. Yeah. And
let's not forget Kyrus Tonga.
Oh, yeah.
Tonga truck.
Yeah, he's something.
Did you see the block he made
Yes.
that sprung Henderson free on the outside there?
Yeah.
He took like 3 guys down.
Yep.
They went down like bowling pins.
Yeah. Finally
He's,
using my boy Henderson the right way.
Yeah, on the outside.
On the outside.
On the outside.
Off tackle
Yep.
and outside.
Yep. So I put, these are just some of my notes. Pat's eerily quiet at the trade deadline. And then I jumped to Ohio State Buckeyes for Coach Bob, #1 in Week 9, undefeated. That's for Coach Bob. Matt Patricia is still their defensive coordinator. I don't know what Belichick was thinking by putting him on offense, but clearly defense is where he belongs. And then I put, and as an ode to Bob Lobel, why can't we get coaches like that? Coach Bob.
We do have pretty good coaches now.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
face it.
They
I
do.
know. The Patriots' whole line has been tremendous, and I wonder how much of Doug Maroney's, whatever, however you pronounce the last name, I wonder how much of his influence is on that offensive line now.
It's got to be on there.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's coaching.
I mean,
It's coaching.
they're starting to come together.
Yep.
And they know where each other is going to be.
Yep.
Those 5 guys have to know if I do this, the other guy next to me is going to do that.
And you haven't heard Will Campbell's name in a month
Nope.
because
Nope.
He's doing his
his
job.
job. Yep.
He can block. Once he gets the legal holding on you, he's not letting go.
He's
Right.
You haven't heard one thing about his short arms. Okay.
Oh, by the way, just before, real quick, number 10, Chelmsford is playing Bishop Fian.
Ooh,
Number 2.
ooh, that should be a good game.
Yeah, it should be, but we'll see.
What division is that?
Division
three, maybe?
2.
Two. Yep.
One more quick question on the Patriots, 30 seconds before you move on. You'll have to repeat this because this mic is not being recorded. I'd like everyone's opinion. Will Bill Belichick take the Giants job?
Oz,
Did they offer it to him?
Oz from the control booth
No,
wants,
there's been no offer.
he wants to know if
But if there was.
Belichick will take the Giants job. I don't think he's going to get offered number 1.
I
What
don't.
do you think, Kevin?
I listened to his answer to that question the other day, and there was enough room in there that made me think, can I take the Giants job and get rid of the girlfriend? Let me sign up right now.
Does the girlfriend have a
Wow.
escape clause?
I
Get money?
I'm
That-
sure she.
Buyout?
That just gets more bizarre every time I look.
Yeah. Yep.
But, and the record is the record. I mean, they're horrible.
Well, they've won a couple in a row.
All he's done is make himself a laughing stock,
Yeah.
by my impression.
Yeah.
So I suppose he could go back into the pros, make himself a pile of dough, put her in the background, win 3 games and nobody remembers.
Put her in the back.
Can't she become one of the cheerleaders?
Well, the way it's going, your cousin Steve, she'll be part owner.
Oh, Stephen, I think she's too young to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But now he's in the semifinals last time I looked for the Hall of Fame. Belichick. He's eligible and he's made a couple of cuts.
Yeah, and there's no question he should be in.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, he's going to be in it.
Thank you,
question
guys. I
is-
love that answer. That was great.
Question is, can he
thanks,
win the Hall
Peter.
of Fame and keep working? Be a Hall of Fame coach coaching?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what their parameters are for eligibility. NHL, you've got to be out for 3 years, and there is the risk a guy can be out, be inducted, and come back. I mean, it's
Right.
not like they can deny him coming back, and I think this answers the question, and it's not like they would rescind the Hall of Fame. So,
Joe Gibbs from Washington,
Joe Gibbs. Yeah.
the Commanders now.
Race cars.
He was in the Hall of Fame and came back, I believe.
Yep.
Sounds
Coached a
okay.
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Well, I thought Kevin just did a great segue. You didn't even know.
that's right.
Talked about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you meant young girlfriend, but that's okay.
no. You want to talk about that?
No.
Okay.
Believe me, no.
All right. Good. Neither do I. I'd rather, believe it or not, I'd rather hear about Zdeno Chara. So,
Who, by the way, is the smallest bobblehead
Right.
known to man.
That's right.
yes.
As he would say, this is not right.
We'll have to change the perspective, camera angle or something.
Yeah.
So,
That's mini Z.
Yeah.
What's your question, caller?
yes, Mr. Dupont. No, our question is, Hall of Fame induction was this past Monday.
Yeah.
The ring ceremony was what, Sunday?
They do rings and jackets on the Saturday.
On Saturday,
Yep.
okay. Then they give them a day off to make sure everything fits right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they,
With Chari, might have needed 2 days.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, every time I saw him interviewed, he was very well spoken. He was
is.
great. He was, you know, I used the term humility before we came on the air about Jack Parker, but I think Chara has tons of that too.
Oh, yes, yeah. I think all of them, by and large. I think there were eight inductees this year. The only one who wasn't there was McGillney, and they did a
Right.
taped thing with McGillney. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
I can't say he would fall in the humility category.
Probably not.
But again,
Why he wasn't there.
different culture. I don't know why he wasn't there. That was never explained. There was some school of thought that he was just...
He was mad.
He was still angry that it took this long, and I think he's got a case there. But you know what? When your day comes, your day comes. I think it's not like he's a 95-year-old guy. Jack Parker's 80. I think Jack Parker could have made the case 20 years ago that
Right.
he should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Anyway, it's different for everybody. But yes, by and large, it's typically, and it was again this year, people who are just very thankful and humble, and it's one of those events where I've been to a number of them. You come away feeling just good about people and good about the game.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's good.
Yeah. And Jennifer Botterill, who played here at Harvard, I thought her speech was the best of all. She was just very polished.
What is she doing
And
now?
composed.
Is she
She does TV. She does that too, I assume. Actually, I know. But what she is more is she's a hockey analyst in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And has the bona fides for
Is
it.
she Canadian?
She is Canadian.
Okay.
Yes.
So how old is she? I mean, did she play in the pros?
That's a good question. She has played pro. I'd say Jennifer is mid-30s.
Oh.
Mid-30s.
Oh.
So
that-
she could still skate if
She
she
can
wanted
still
to.
play.
Played Vancouver for Olympics. That was 15 years ago.
Yep.
So she might be 37, 38, somewhere in there.
Okay. Well, the other thing, which you wrote a great article, Bob mentioned that again before we came on the air, where you interviewed Phil Esposito
Oh, yeah.
about it's been 50 years, which I couldn't. I read that. I had to read it
Yeah.
twice. 50 years since Esposito was traded.
So let me interject there.
Oh, please do.
I'll ask because do you remember where you were when you learned the news Espo had been traded? Scott?
I don't remember where I was.
You don't.
But I do remember being shocked.
Yeah.
I don't remember. No.
You guys? Like the when and where?
I was in high school.
Yeah.
I think I was home.
Yeah.
I think I was home. And I said to my mother, who was a big Bruins fan, I said, Ma, they traded Esposito. She says, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, they traded Esposito. Who'd they get? I said, Jean Rattel. So I remember my mother, I remember distinctly,
Yeah.
my mother saying, he's like 75 years old.
He was the oldest of the bunch, but he wasn't quite that old.
He was.
I know. My father's huge Bruins. Watched all the games.
Yeah.
And he was beside himself.
Yeah.
He said, "What are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were
Why
right.
do they?"
Yeah, they had it right.
Harry Sinton was right.
They had it right.
He never approached. He scored 40 goals one more time, I think.
Yeah, and again, a vastly different team, and he didn't have Orr shooting it from the point.
Right.
There's always the mitigating circumstances, right? And he got hurt right away. He got, I think his second game, he got a really bad, not to explain the next 5 or 6 years, but he got a real bad ankle sprain.
Yep.
So that took him out a couple of months. He didn't play when they played fairly soon after that at Madison Square Garden. Orr and Park were both in that lineup, and that's the last game they ever played together. So there was that. I remember distinctly. I was driving through Brighton Center, and listening to BZ, and I heard it on BZ, and
Oh my God.
I said, "This has got to be a joke, right?" And no, not at all. So
Tell the story. You wrote about it, but tell the story of Brad Park at the BZ studio,
Oh, yeah.
because that was just that was too much.
well, there were a lot of facets of that story I really enjoyed, which was so they traded for him that day, and November 8th, '75.
Wow.
The public relations department was one person, a
Nate.
good friend of mine, Nate Greenberg, who'd been there for a couple of years, another BU guy. And he put out the release, and then Park is coming over to the airport. So part of the job then was, as the PR guy, you went to the airport and you picked up the player, right? It wasn't that uncommon either. Like, I remember being a beat guy, and Barry Peterson came in for his first camp up in Wilmington. And he needed a ride to the airport because he was going back to junior. I said, I'll take him. So Barry Peterson, all of 18 years old, I drove him to Logan that day. So. Anyway, Nate picks him up. Guy Manila's doing Calling All Sports on WBZ. You probably remember.
I remember that.
The only talk show of the day. And Nate had called over and said, would you like Brad if I can get him? Oh, we'd love Brad. He gets, sure, bring him over. So brings him over, and they're in the green room waiting to come on. And the feed coming over in the room on the speaker is the direct feed. In other words, no producer with the bleep switch. And needless to say, the people were not happy about the trade. So they were giving it to Park, they were giving it to Rattel, they were giving it to Bill Francis, the GM. And Nate said, it was so bad and so withering that he thought at one point Brad was going to get up and walk out. So he positioned himself by the door in his chair. So Brad tried to make a run for it. He'd stop him. So,
But he must have had all those guys have to have a fairly thick skin, right?
well, especially if absolutely, especially if you're in New York.
From New York. Right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he had to expect something. Esposito was a god here,
Oh,
second only to Bobby Orr.
absolutely.
And so,
Yeah.
But wasn't Brad Park a god in New York?
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
He was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, his whole career, to a degree, not whole career because Orr left, but in terms of those prime young years, overshadowed by Orr.
Orr, yep.
And routinely finished runner-up in the North. He was a terrific player, as we saw here. Even though when he got here, his knee was bad and couldn't. I was going back because I was covering them soon after, covering them on a daily basis. The fact that he was only 27 years old when he showed up here,
Wow.
that surprised me.
I was surprised to read that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And played extremely well for them and did it all on one knee. I think in some ways the small garden ice with that small neutral zone, not as much skating, played to his favor as it did a number of guys.
What did he play, 7 years for the Bruins?
Played
Is that what
7
it
years,
was?
yeah. And then he went on and played 2 years for his last 2 years for Red Wings, where he eventually
that's right.
eventually became a coach. I was surprised when they didn't keep him here, but he made some good dough and went to Detroit.
But I would take exception to they made the right choice when they trade Esposito, because all of the circumstances changed. Different team,
Yes, it's true.
different ice. I think, yeah, he may have been past his prime a bit, but he still had Orr. He still had all the surrounding characters. He was still good size, decent shape. He could have maybe not scored 50 or 60 anymore, but he would have been more productive, I would say, than he was when he went to New York.
You can make that case. Yeah, again, there's no knowing. I think when most of us say it turned out to be right is that they got to the cup semis twice with those guys, 2 finals with those guys, and then in New York there was only that one cup final in '79, which, by the way, if that game in Montreal, the too many men on the ice game had been different, it would have been Rangers against Bruins in the final.
Finals,
That would have
Yeah.
been something.
So that would have been good fun.
And I saw I was thinking of the Rangers back then, and Eddie Jockman just passed away. I remember Derek Sanderson going into the corner, and like 25 Rangers jumped him, and it seems like guys came off the bench.
Yeah.
And they were going to get Derek Sanderson, and
Derek had a way of doing that.
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I wish there were more like that.
Yeah. Well, but that was 50 years ago. That's the part of that story that I couldn't believe. 50 years ago. Nate's story was great. So let's take it to today. Bruins are on have won 7
7 in a row.
And I asked you before, do you believe that? You said, no. Sorry.
You think this isn't a trend? This is kind of a hiccup that they won 7, or?
No, and my feeling is, and this isn't to be on the fence with this, I think the truth is somewhere in between here, between 6 straight losses and losing 7 of 8 and now winning 7 in a row going into Ottawa. I think what has surprised me more than anything, like if we went back and rolled the tape from my last time here before the season began, I felt they were in the wild card mix, and by being in the wild card mix, I believe they have a franchise goaltender in Swayman. I think we're seeing that now as save percentages back to 9, 9-0-0. They've got an excellent defenseman in McAvoy, who we constantly size up by who he isn't rather than who he is.
Right.
He's not Chara, he's not Park, he's not Orr, he's not Bork.
He's not going to score 25 goals in the season.
But I think he obviously has more potential than as he is as we sit here today. He's got 0 goals. But and then they've got one of the elite goal scorers, got his 400th goal the other night, 401st goal, Pasternak.
Yep.
So they've got a lot of elements that a lot of teams wish they had. So to me, that automatically puts you in the wild card mix. Are they going to dominate? I think this morning they were maybe 5th in the conference for points percentage, rather than win percentage, but points percentage. Are they 5th? I think they're 5th at best. I think this is like the best they'll be in terms of what the record is today. But so what? I think that's to say. I think they'll hang around that 6, 7, 8, 9 spot, and I think they'll do that for the winter.
I think Sturm's got them playing hard.
Yes.
They're hustling. They're digging pucks out of the corner. They're certainly hitting. I like their style.
Yeah.
They're like old-time Bruins.
Yeah, I don't know if old time, but I'll draw a comparison here to the Patriots and with Vrabel in that you got to like where you work, right? No matter what you're doing. Clearly, the Patriots didn't like where they were working the last couple of years. You can see, I don't know, I'm not qualified, probably not qualified to make a judgment on a hockey coach either, but I do watch human reaction and how teams play. Yep. Both teams seem to be having fun. That goes a long way. Now, you can have fun and lose every night, too. I'm not saying that's the key element, but I think that's a big factor in this. He's encouraging. It's not the old school where you beat guys down. He's been very frank. This is Sturm now, very frank about sitting guys out like Lorai. He benched.
Love that.
Yeah. If you remember, he benched Pasternak and Zacha on the road. Yep. Because that was the Denver game. He sat him out for the third period, or most of the third period. That's a tough thing to do as a coach. But if you do it right, which is okay, you were crummy tonight. We're going to put you back in. They put him back in.
And they're better.
And most guys, if they're honest, will respond by trying harder. Yeah. Right?
Yep. Well, I think it's safe to say they won't lose 6 in a row again, and they probably won't win 7 in a row again. So
somewhere in the middle.
To your
right?
point, somewhere in between, which. That's more than I thought they would get this year.
There was some question on some research that I did, is are they going to, once they get going, if they start losing again, are they going to try to tank? And they had 2 kids that they mentioned. The guy, Gavin McKenna, playing for Penn State.
And the kid from PC.
And the kid, the kid from University of North Dakota. Keaton Verhoff.
Yeah.
He's a big defenseman, and the other kid's a wing.
And both look like they're legitimate players. The thing is, as we all know, tanking is risky anyway, just from a marketing standpoint and selling and making people buy in, especially risky when it's the lottery system. That even if you finish dead last, you still may end up with the 5th pick. Right?
Yeah.
I think the Bruins were 3rd going into that last year, if I remember right. Third or
the 7th
5th,
pick.
and they ended up at 7th.
Yeah.
They could have moved up to 1. They didn't, obviously. So that's a real risky game. That was going on around when it was the Eichel-McDavid draft in 2015. Sabres trying to tank or accused of trying to tank, and then it just doesn't fall right. That said, they got a pretty good pick in number 2. North Chelmsford's Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
That's right, North Chelmsford.
Yeah.
North Chump, don't forget it.
Yep.
Do you think either one of those kids is worth tanking for? I mean, I don't know if you follow them.
Yeah, that's almost a separate question, and I'll answer that by the Bruins got Joe Thornton number 1, which was in the pre-lottery days, right? They finished last and got him, and for the first 3-4 years, it didn't look right. So I think Joe kind of answers it in both ways, which is you just never know with an 18-year-old kid.
Right.
Yeah.
And the toughest part of that is typically, unless there's been some trade made where a good team ends up with the number 1 pick because they made some great trade. Typically, you're going to a franchise that needs a lot of help. Witness Edmonton and Buffalo with that 1-2 pick in 15. And those kids come in. Bedard in
Chicago.
In Chicago, perfect case. Very talented kid. He's doing a little better this year. But these kids are seen as franchise saviors at 18. There's a lot of NCAA programs with the 18-year-old kid can't do it.
Right.
So to expect them to come in the league, playing guys who've played 500 games, 800 games, 1,200 games, they're men, they're big, they're 40 to 50 pounds heavier. It's a very tall task.
Well, not too many Bobby Orrs out there.
No.
No.
Stephen, you got anything there?
I want to talk about a great trade that the Bruins made last year that's paying off big time, and that's Brandon Carlo for Fraser Minton, a number 1 and 26, and I think they also got a 4th-round pick. I think that's been a great trade. Minton's been really good.
Yeah.
I know the fans up in Toronto are up in arms. They're really upset about it now. Carlo, obviously, I mean, the Maple Leafs didn't win the cup. I don't think they got out of the second round. So that was a bad deal for them. But I think it was a great trade, and I think Sweeney deserves a lot of credit for it.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know what Fraser Minton's what his long-term trajectory is in terms of is he middle 6 or is he top 6? And that said, you can be a very valuable performer at middle 6. He's certainly got a head for the game. He's a bit on the small side by kind of classic top 6 dimension, but plays well, honest game. And the first rounder on top. So yes, I would totally agree.
I mean, was Brandon Carlo your number 1 defenseman? No. So
No.
basically you swapped out, you got somebody of equal value at least, I think, trading defense for offense, and a number 1 pick. And the Bruins are like looking 2-3 years down the road.
Yes, yeah. And to look at it from Toronto's perspective, they get first of all, a terrific citizen in Carlo, which kind of is neither here nor there in the equation, but really good guy. Right D, that's a tougher spot. Experienced, not a guy who's going to go out there and be physical, and that's kind of the dimension that's not in his game.
Right.
Wish it were.
And he's not flashy either.
Not flashy, no ego, all of that. Really good citizen to have you in the lineup. So from their perspective at the time, if they think that, and I forgot the most important part of the equation, top 4, so he's going to play 20, 21 minutes a night. Those guys are really valuable. And if you think you've got a team that's close, that is a trade that makes sense. You've got a kid in Minton, this is from their perspective, kid in Minton, you don't really know where he's going to fall. You truly believe he's going to play in the league. That's exactly what you should be offering for what they got.
Right.
It hasn't panned out. If they were expecting more than what they've seen from Carlo, then they were making a mistake, but I think they knew exactly what they were getting. A guy who can eat up minutes, play reliably, do a number of things. I think he's got more offense in his game than he's ever been asked to show because he's got really good legs. But again, that comes down to system, what kind of team you've got, what kind of coach, all of that.
Right.
I mean, that's all you can ask for, right? A consistent player.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get. He's a lunch pail kind of guy, and he's going to play for you.
Right.
That's not bad.
No. What drives coaches crazy is the trick-or-treat guys, that they've got everything you just talked about, but then for whatever reason, they'll go freelance in the middle of it, and then,
Right.
Yeah.
then that, as crazy as it sounds, for that 35 to 45 seconds he's on the ice, it ends up costing them the game because he made some stupid play, thought he was more than he is, or, got some inspiration to go freelance, and that's just not how the line's
Isn't
built.
that when Sturm puts him on the bench?
That's when Sturm
Hey, right?
puts him upstairs.
Puts him upstairs, yeah.
And that said, it's not. He did it with Laura. He gave Laura a lot of leg room, if you will, in terms of his game. And the intriguing part about Mason is he's got good legs. He loves to shoot, which I like, especially when you're frustrated often watching McAvoy not shoot. This is the guy who comes into the bar shooting, right? You'll love that. But he's not physical. He's not very.
And he should be because he's big enough.
Yeah, he is big enough. But the bigger, rather than looking for him to clobber guys through the boards, just provide strong, robust defense, positioning-wise, and getting after pucks. And that's where he really falls off.
And
Have they ever thought of moving him up to,
Forward.
play offense?
Yeah, he was that for most of his youth hockey, and you can see that in his game. Generally, it doesn't work. There are a few players you can have them do both, but I don't think. Well, they're not in a position of need for it right now, and generally that's what drives it. I think they'll leave him on there. I think there's enough there that with the right coaching, and a lot of that comes down to player attitude. If he's willing to do a little less of the other and a whole lot more of this, then I think he'll be all right.
this is for Coach Bob.
Yeah.
Where did Lowry go to college?
Oh, yeah. The Ohio State
The Ohio State University.
Yeah.
That was for Coach Bob.
Yeah. and they have a prospect from there, Merkeloff, Georgia
Yeah,
Merkeloff.
who's another guy from Ohio State.
Yeah. Of the Buckeye Merkeloffs.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for joining us today. We're
Always fun. Thank you.
thanks for coming and sharing your Bruins insight. So for Cousin Stephen and Coach Bob, my name is John Friedman. Thank you very much for joining us on 4th and 62, our 31st episode. Who'd have thunk it?
Unbelievable.
And we're like the little engine that could. We just keep on going.
That's right.
So I got like 100 more questions I could ask you, but
In another episode.
yeah, another episode. Yeah. No, you'll probably never come back. but thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time on 4th and 62.
Very nice.
Bye, everybody.
Cousin Steve,
See you, Cousin Stephen.
wonderful job.
See ya.
Wonderful job.